Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. We're live with a Boxing Day morning show as per usual. No apologies for being late, it's Boxing Day, you're lucky you're getting a live show. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and it continues of course. But lots to get into on the show today. A few little stories that sort of hit Christmas Eve and we've kept back for today as well. João Felix transfer race expected to be completed very soon. We'll give you the latest on that. We've actually been linked to Malo Gusto as well, which I just think is coincidental that I was on Sky on Christmas Eve talking about Gusto and then within a couple of hours being linked to him when we've never really been linked to him that much. Also, return for Harry Maguire. He will be back tomorrow as expected. There was no way on this earth Harry Maguire was not going to be back to play tomorrow. I think he would have played with a broken leg. He's got one chance to win his place back with Varane and Martinez not here. And that's Forest tomorrow. So Harry Maguire back, confirmed by Eric Ten Hag that he trained, I think, on Friday, if not Saturday. So lots to get into. Hope you're all doing very well. And as I said, Merry Christmas to everybody. Good to be back. I'm still not 100%, but feel better than I did on Christmas Eve. And yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, Man United don't play till tomorrow, do they? But we'll talk about that in a minute. But don't forget as well, what a video it was yesterday. I didn't edit it. I really enjoyed watching it when there was shit TV on Christmas TV night last night. I was watching the best bits of 2022 for the United Stand, which is basically just me raging all the way through till June. I enjoyed it because I could laugh at it knowing that things got better this season. But yeah, it was interesting to remember some of the shit from the start of the year. So check that out. I've dropped the link in the live chat as well. But let's start off with João Felix story then. So this is coming from French reports that Manchester United and Arsenal are very far ahead in the race to sign João Felix from Atletico Madrid. The indication is still that Arsenal are leading the race, but that Manchester United are in it. In it to win it. Well, I tell you what, I think this... No, I'm not doing any watch-alongs today, Tom. It's a family day. I'm not doing watch-alongs on Boxing Day. I've always said if Manchester United play on Boxing Day, I'll do a watch-along. But I am not doing any other club on Boxing Day. It's a family day for me, so no watch-alongs today. We have got a very good video coming up for you later, though, with Fabrizio Romano that I'm recording in a little bit. Gakpo deal done soon, says John. And Andy, I've never heard of that person, so thanks for the super chat, but I've got no idea who that is. Jake Felix says, we're begging for more La Liga players, are we? Arsenal will win the race, as Ronaldo told him to come to Arsenal, as he did say he wants Arsenal to win the league, says Zayn Miassi. I mean, it's a theory. I think you've plucked it from your arse, Zayn, but it's a theory, I suppose. But you know what? I think that this João Felix deal is really quite interesting because... we know the background to the fact that Manchester United did approach Atletico Madrid in August. That's when Ten Hag was the coach. So we know that Ten Hag likes João Felix. We also know that Atletico Madrid will let him go on a loan to buy deal. So he will cost very little money in January. And we also know that he's a very, what's the word? I nearly said loose, but adaptable forward, where he can play false 9, he can play 9, he can play off the wing, he can play at number 10 as well. It's a low risk for a high quality player, and as I said before, I do sort of agree that we will end up going for Cody Gakpo, but on the other hand, I think that we also could lose out when it comes to João Felix, because I think he's a player that will definitely make a big difference. We've had just a very quick update on Cody Gakpo. It's coming from Fabrizio Romano. Cody Gakpo hasn't changed his mind on Manchester United. He was keen on joining last summer, and this is still the case. Discussions with his agents have always been positive. It's on Man United now. Time to decide internally about 55 to 60 million investment. I mean, that's an update from Fabrizio, but it's basically a regurgitation of where we've been for a couple of weeks now. And I suppose that's what it comes down to, João Felix. Man United have got themselves in this position where, when you wake up on Christmas Day morning and you get two good presents, you don't know which one to play, and you start playing with the one and you think, I want to play with the other one. It's the dilemma of a threesome, isn't it? Which way to go? How do you play both at the same time? You've got to go for the one that you prefer the best. And I feel that with Cody Gakpo, Fabrizio does sum it up quite well. The player will come to Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag wants the player. Do you want to pay £50 million for the player? And then with João Felix, you've got a player that Eric Ten Hag wanted in the summer, that Arsenal want, and you can get him on a loan to buy deal if you want to get him. Which player do you want? And I do feel that it will be a deal that no matter what happens, we will look back and go, we should have done this, we could have done that. Hope you had a good Christmas, Mark. My New Year resolution is not to send delusional super chats come 2023, says Zane. That's probably going to be, we're not going to hear much from you then, are we? But no, happy Christmas, and I hope you have a good New Year, pal. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I think with Gakpo, it's going to come down to whether we want to. John Berkey's American, says Andy Cheaton, so it's probably a load of bollocks. Yeah, I've never heard of the guy, so yeah. But yeah, I think with regards to this story about Gakpo and Felix, it will be one of the two. I remain convinced that it will be Gakpo. I think most of you would probably agree it will be Gakpo. I think the positive I take is that it's January transfer window. We need to buy a striker. And how often in a January transfer window do you get the opportunity to be able to get 2 or 3, maybe even 4 options on the table to fill a position that you are desperate to fill? You know, I think United would almost love to be able to go, there's not a lot of quality out there in January, just so they don't have to spend money. But the problem they've got this year is that there's so much quality out there, they have to, and it's a question of what they decide to do. I still stick to my personal opinion that I would go for João Felix. United Av has just gifted 5 United Stand memberships. Legend of the chat, thank you very much for that. Daddy RMB says he'd go for Gakpo any day. United Av, thank you very much. Super chat, gifter of the members there. Thank you very much for that. Don't forget to check out the Christmas quiz if you're a member. Look, if Ten Hag wants Cody Gakpo, go and get Cody Gakpo. If it's a choice on who I would go for João Felix. I think he's the better player. And he's younger as well. I mean, it's amazing. I never realised that João Felix is actually 4 or 5 months younger. Tom Evans says Liverpool reportedly pulled out of the Bellingham race. Well, if Liverpool pull out of the Bellingham race, that means he's going to Real Madrid, mate. He's not coming to Manchester United. We've already spoken about Fabrizio Hayden. Maybe if you tuned in on time, you'd know that. I was 10 minutes late as well, so there's no reason to be late. Happy Boxing Day, Mark, says Cecil. Can we get both Felix and Gakpo, says Red Milk. Look, Fabrizio has put a tweet out. We've got him later on the show anyway. The point with Gakpo is that, you know, as Fabrizio's recent tweet just says, nothing has changed. Man United spoke to Gakpo in the summer and he wanted to come to United, and Ten Hag wanted him to come to United. We didn't have the money, so we didn't do the deal. Ronaldo leaves. United need a forward. United speak to Gakpo's agents. Gakpo still wants to come to Man United. Ten Hag still wants Gakpo. The same issue. I mean, look, I feel like I shouldn't have to explain this to you because you're very intelligent, but we have the same situation now that we had in the summer. Gakpo wants to come to United. Ten Hag wants Gakpo to come to United. United don't want to spend the money. And the question will be, in January, do they spend the money or don't they spend the money? And that will be the decider in this. And basically, that's what Fabrizio Romano's tweet is saying, but that's basically what we've all been saying for a very long time. It's going to come down to the fact of whether United want to spend 50, 60 million pounds on Cody Gakpo and whether they should. I mean, you know, we're all football fans. I think we're all Ten Hag fans, and we all want him to get what he wants. But you know, there does become a point where you say a player isn't worth that. I mean, I don't think he's worth 50 million quid. I've said it a million times, but PSV have been very clear about what they want, and that makes it, you know, potentially quite difficult for ourselves. I wouldn't take Thuram, Blue Ninja. No, I don't think he's of the quality that we need. If there was no option to get Gakpo or João Felix, then I would probably take Thuram because we do need a striker. But it's like going down your local supermarket, isn't it? And you know, they've got, you know, finest range of crisps and they've got average range of crisps. If the finest range of crisps there, I'm going to get them. And you know, I think Thuram's a good player, but there's better options. Why would I settle for anything less? So no, I would go with that. Given the amount of options in the market, I don't think United can justify not investing in a striker, says Emily Derry. Thank you very much for that, Emily. So if you are just tuning in a little bit late than you thought you would be, the headline is that Manchester United are locked in a transfer battle for João Felix with, what's his face, with Arsenal for João Felix. However, Arsenal still expected to be leading that race. On from that, the Cody Gakpo update from Fabrizio Romano is that nothing has really changed. That Manchester United have to make a decision about whether they want to spend that amount of money or not. Now, there are a couple of other updates coming out. Laurie Whitwell has put an update out this morning saying that Ten Hag is with the same agency as Gakpo, which we know. Slow Sports News. And The Athletic has been told Murta met with him at Carrington in the last fortnight. Voss is a regular at Old Trafford and their pair see each other regularly. Slow Sports News. And United could opt for a lower cost, more experienced striker. I mean, that would lead you towards Memphis Depay, wouldn't it? A lower cost, more experienced striker. I mean, it just makes you want to throw up, doesn't it? I will say this. I'm a firm backer of Eric Ten Hag, but if you've got Cody Gakpo and you've got João Felix in the market and you sign Memphis Depay, that's just Glazeonomics, and I'll be fuming. I'll be absolutely fuming. I don't even mind Memphis. I like Memphis, but, you know, that is just bullshit. And I know there's protests tomorrow, and good, you know, good. I hope the protests do continue, because I think Arnold's shite, I think Murta's a load of shite, and I think the Glazers are a load of shite, and I think they all need clearing out. And the fact that we might consider going for Memphis Depay, when it's like I said at the start of the show, who are you? Are you Manchester United, or are you a bunch of twats? Because ultimately, we are nowhere near winning titles. We've been nowhere near winning a title for a decade. And you've got an opportunity to replace Cristiano Ronaldo with a player that the manager wants, Cody Gakpo, or a player of the quality of João Felix on loan, and you're going to get Memphis Depay because he's cheap. Go fuck yourself. I mean, what's that all about? What is that all about? And, you know, sometimes I think we get locked into a conversation and we're like, well, you know, this, that and the other. Sometimes you've just got to put it, you know, put it down as what it is. You have to put it down as what it is. And what it is bullshit. Absolute stinking, festering bullshit. You know, it really is. Because there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse for it. And it pisses me off, and I'm sure it pisses everybody else off, that, you know, that sort of a decision could ever get made. You know, there are good options out there for Manchester United, and you go and, you know, a cheaper, more experienced striker. Bullshit. That is bullshit. That just means cheap. And you are never going to catch up with the likes of Arsenal or Manchester City when you are refusing João Felix and Cody Gakpo to save money for Memphis. And all you're doing is you're just being idiots. You're just creating your same problems again. How much wages are you going to give Memphis to come to Manchester United? 200 grand. And then he's a flop. And then you're stuck with him for another 5 years. What kind of prats have we got running this football club? And then, you know, Eric Ten Hag might be naive enough to go, you know what, I can work with Memphis because he's Dutch. I can turn him into a star. Yeah. Well, I don't think you can, mate. I really don't. I think you've got to dig in and understand that you want Cody Gakpo and you want João Felix, and that's what you want. You can't close a gap. If you're a runner and you need new shoes, you don't close the gap on elite athletes by sticking a plaster on the hole in your shoe. That will come off very quickly, and you've spent money on it. It winds me up. And you know why it winds me up? Because it's coming from Laurie Whitwell, who is basically like that with the club. So he won't put something out that's a load of bullshit. So if he's got information that United might go for a more experienced, cheaper striker, then you can pretty much guarantee that United want that out there. It's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks, but I'll speak to Fabrizio about that story. It's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks. But if we end up with Memphis Depay when we could have got Cody Gakpo or João Felix, I will lose it. I will lose it. And it's not because I don't like Memphis. I do like Memphis, but you know, it's like sending your mate off to the fish and chip shop, isn't it? And them saying, what do you want? Well, I would like fish and chips, or I would like, you know, beef and onion pie, gravy, chips and peas. One of the two. And what if they haven't got that? Well, they will have that, won't they? They will have that because it's a fish and chip shop and they always have pie. They'll have that. But what if they don't? Well, if they don't, I don't know. It's barely even worth going, is it? Just get me a Saveloy and chips. They come back with a Saveloy and chips. Why? Well, it was cheaper. But I didn't bloody want that. I wanted fish and chips, or I wanted beef and onion pie, chips, gravy and peas. Why have you come back with the Saveloy and chips? Because you said you'd like it if you didn't want the other ones. But I wanted the other ones. I don't want that. And that's sort of the situation that will develop, because the options are João Felix or Cody Gakpo. It's not Thuram, it's not Memphis. Where Manchester United, we're trying to close a gap on teams that are way better than us. We can't bring in players that nobody else wants. The queue is for Cody Gakpo. The queue is for João Felix. The queue is not for Memphis. Nobody's queuing up for Memphis, apart from maybe United. Mark, if you had 50 million to spend in January, would you rather Gakpo or Tielemans, Thuram and Gasto? Says Kyle. Kyle, if I had 50 million to spend in January, I'd spend it on what Ten Hag wants. You know, Mark, prediction, Arsenal, West Ham. Also, did you see the rumours Holland will go for Ten Hag after the Euros? Well, they won't get him, Zane. You've got a chance. Never in a million years. He's not going to go. No, he's not going to go. It's like Eddie Howe's not going to take the England job, is he? You know, this is not going to happen. No one's going to take the job. I've read the Laurie Will. You know, Uzar, you really need to turn up on time. I'm not going to go back talking about stuff I spoke about 3 minutes ago. Can we start blocking these morons in the chat, please, mods? Because I've literally just spoken about that, and it must be frustrating for people who are watching who actually turn up on time. Because no, it's not new, Uzar. If it's new, I'm going to have to apologise to Uzar. No, there's nothing new. We just spoke about it. Literally just spoken about it. So you've just disrupted the show for absolutely no reason. Great. Cheers for that one, pal. I mean, what I would say is there's a lot of regurgitation out there in defence of Uzar. There's a lot of regurgitation out there. I mean, look. Hello, I'm Laurie Whitwell. Hello, I'm James Ducker. Hello, I'm Samuel Luckhurst. Hello, I'm Fabrizio Romano. Hello, I'm Simon Stone. They're just regurgitating the same thing about Cody Gakpo. They've spoken to his agent in the last 2 weeks. Well, they've probably spoken to him about Ten Hag because they've got the same agent. Man United like Cody Gakpo. Yes, we liked him in August. Man United, Gakpo would like to come to Manchester United. Yes, we know he wanted to come in August. The Cody Gakpo thing for me bores the shit out of me because you could not have a simpler deal. It simply comes down to, will they spend the money? What if that makes us get Osman in the summer, says Daniel Kirk. No, Daniel, I know what you're saying. You're basically saying, let's get Memphis. Premier League games today, says Ahmed. How does the sale of the team correlate with getting Felix or Gakpo? If the sale is imminent, what would stop the Glazers from getting either one of them, says United have? No, it doesn't. Any news of the United takeover? No. Red Milk, no. And Harrison, he didn't ask a question. He said Laurie Whitwell update, which we spoke about 5 minutes ago. Look, if you don't like the tempo of the show, jog on. Simple as that. I'm just saying this happens consistently, and the moderators should time people out who don't turn up on time and then try and take us back to a story that we were talking about 5 minutes ago, because it's a news show, and it frustrates me, and I get a lot of feedback from people as well, that you're going through the news and then you have to keep going back to something you said 5 minutes ago because somebody can't be asked to listen to the show or turn up on time. That's not rude, that's not abrupt, it's what's been going on for years. And if you don't like that, go and eat your selection box, because it's Christmas, it's Boxing Day morning, and didn't even need to do a live show, wanted to do a live show because I've missed the community and I want to talk about Man United, and I'm sure everybody else does. But I don't want to keep going back to Laurie Whitwell updates, which basically are regurgitation of things that have been said for 6 months, which is basically Cody Gakpo wants to come to United, Eric Ten Hag wants him, United don't really want to spend the money. Now, you can wrap that up in whatever Christmas paper you like. You can spray it with perfume, you can fart on it. I don't really care. The Cody Gakpo story has not changed for about 4 months. He wants to come to United, Ten Hag wants him, United don't really want to spend £50 million. That's the story. And if you listen to what Fabrizio said this morning, he said that himself. This story only moves forward when United decide to spend 45, 50 million quid. And if they don't, that deal will not happen. So we can talk about how much Ten Hag admires Gakpo. We can talk about how much Gakpo loves Manchester. But if United don't want to spend 45 to 50 million quid, this deal won't happen. And you're either intelligent enough to realise that and read between the lines, or you're going to keep getting excited every time you hear United have spoken to his agent. Gakpo wants to come to United. This is about money, and it could well not happen at all. It could well happen in the next few days. It could well take all of January like it did with Bruno. The Gakpo deal is quite frustrating. It is, because it ultimately comes down to money. And I agree with United, Av. At the end of the day, why are we moaning about spending £50 million on a player when they're trying to sell the club for £6 billion? It has no correlation anymore. Glazonomics should not be a thing. We should not be thinking like, oh, I don't want to spend £50 million because of dividends. You're trying to sell the club. You're trying to sell the club. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for me, I think that we should sign Cody Gakpo because that's the player that Erik ten Hag wants. On the other hand, if we get Cody Gakpo and Arsenal get João Felix, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up getting the better deal. But it's up to the manager, and the manager always must be. If I'm the CEO or I'm the director of football, I mean, this is the perfect example, right? And what do you think about this? If I'm the CEO or the director of football and Erik ten Hag's the manager, and I've got a decision to make between João Felix and Gakpo, and I go, I think João Felix is better. There's low risk with a loan. I think that's the deal we do, Erik. And Erik says, no, I'm absolutely convinced that we spend £50 million on Gakpo. And I'm going, look, Erik, I really disagree. I think João Felix is better. I think he's got loads of potential. He's cheaper. He's on loan. And I think Gakpo is, there's more of a risk and he's overpriced. No, I'm convinced it's Gakpo. I would say, right, okay, we're not going to go for Felix. I'll spend the money on Gakpo. But I tell you what, if you get this wrong, let's remember this conversation. And that's what I would do. So even if I was in charge of the CEO, if Ten Hag wants Gakpo, you get Gakpo. Personally, I think Felix is the better deal to do, but I would 100% back the manager because that's what you should do. And if that's what Ten Hag wants, you've got to do it. What you don't do is go, he really wants Gakpo. I think we should get João Felix, but even he's a bit expensive. Let's get Memphis. That would be ridiculous. So yeah, look, I think it's what the manager wants that matters, isn't it, really? Just a quick update on Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is back for the game tomorrow. So remember, Manchester United football's back today. Premier League football is back today. Games across the day. If you need to break away and just slip into a room and watch a bit of football, get away from friends and family, or bring them with you. There is lots of football to watch today. Manchester United, of course, are back tomorrow. They play against Nottingham Forest tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to that. Harry Maguire will be back. Hi, I'm from USA. Been listening for a year now. I'm interested in Ten Hag, new owners and singings. Keep doing your thing. Happy holiday, says Hank. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Members Club, Chris and Emre. Thank you very much. Imagine the world where United get Depay and Arsenal get Felix. Wouldn't put it past the board. Big Ash. I mean, look, I've got to just say, before I talk about Maguire, I don't mind. Dean Henderson can't play tomorrow, Andre, because he's on loan from Manchester United, so you can't play against your parent club. I don't mind Memphis. I don't think he's a bad player. But even watching him in the World Cup, and I don't like watching people in the World Cup because it's false, but it's hard to watch him play domestic football because he hardly ever plays for Barcelona. So I thought I'll have a look at him in the World Cup. And I just saw a player that I thought, well, there's 10 strikers in the Premier League as good as him. I don't think he's anything special, and yet you're going to bring him in to be something special. It's a huge gamble. It's a huge risk. He's been at the club before. Nobody else wants him. It's not even Cavani. It's not even bringing I don't want to hear people saying, well, it worked with Cavani, it worked with Zlatan. No, piss off. You can't compare Memphis with Cavani and Zlatan. I think he's better than Ighalo, but it's somewhere between an Ighalo and a Henrik Larsson for me. This is not a bringing in a Cavani. So I think it's a massive step down from what we should be doing. You buy João Felix, you buy Gakpo, you're buying a player for the future. You bring Memphis in, you're taking a huge risk on a player that's going to be very expensive. This is my first super chat, and I've been watching since 2022. I just want to say keep up all the great work and all the best for the new year. Thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate that. Sorry, so you don't think it could lead to Osman, says Daniel. I don't think that getting Memphis leads to getting Osman, because if you get Memphis, people had this ridiculous theory that you get Memphis till the summer and then you get rid of him and then you get Osman. Memphis is not going to sign for United for 5 months. He will want a 3 or 4 year deal, and it will be about 200 grand a week. So you bring Memphis in on 200 grand a week for 3 or 4 years. He's 28. You're stuck with him. And then if you did buy Osman in the summer, you've got an unhappy Memphis. It's not a good deal. If you want to get Osman in the summer, you bring João Felix in. If you want someone on loan for 5 months to get a striker in the summer, you bring João Felix in. If you want someone for a long-term plan, you bring Gakpo or Felix in. If you want somebody who's just cheap, you bring Memphis in. And he doesn't solve short-term problems or long-term problems, and he costs you money. And it would be his last big. People are pondering around this Memphis opportunity like it's a short-term fix. He's 28. It's his last big contract. He's looking for a big contract. Why would United give it him? It's stupid. But we've made many stupid mistakes over the last 10 years. Anyway, Harry Maguire is expected to be back tomorrow to play against Nottingham Forest. This is good news because it means Casemiro plays in the midfield. I think we'll beat them anyway, but we'll definitely beat them with Casemiro in the midfield. So with Maguire in the team, it means you can play Maguire and Lindelof. No return from... unless there's a shock news today that Varane's back in training, which technically probably should be because it is... Is it Monday today? It is Monday today, isn't it? I'm lost. It is Monday today. So Varane could be back in training, but I doubt he'd start him tomorrow. So Maguire will start tomorrow with Lindelof. As I said, there was no way in a million years Maguire wasn't going to be back tomorrow. It's his chance to play well and then say I should start and keep the captaincy. So he will start tomorrow. He will lead the team out tomorrow, which I find hilarious, by the way. Why he leads the team out when he's had nothing to do with the team's success this year is weird, but he is the captain, and I said it the other day, you may as well keep him until the summer. And if you're the club captain, you lead the team out. Used to happen with Gary Neville. So, look, it is what it is. The captaincy is actually irrelevant. I don't know why I mentioned it. But him playing tomorrow is positive because Casemiro can play in the midfield. Now, if Maguire wasn't fit, we'd have to play Casemiro at centre-back, which puts McTominay in the midfield. And to be honest with you, I would rather Maguire start than McTominay at the moment because McTominay has been dreadful for, even in the games in Spain, he was absolutely trash. So, Maguire back being is good news. He had a good World Cup. He's going to play against... actually, I think Maguire and Lindelof will play well tomorrow because they're going to play against... It's going to be like an England game for Maguire. He's going to have nothing to do apart from get the ball, do that run where he puts his arms out and runs forward 50 yards and then passes it sideways to Shaw or has a shot. You know what I mean? He gets the ball, there's nothing in front of him, and he carries the ball. He'll be able to hit loads of 50-yard long balls across to Rashford on the wing. I think he'll have a good game. I think it'll be like it. Maguire plays well for England when we play crap teams who don't attack, and I think Forest, I said in the preview, have scored 1 goal away all season, so he'll have a good game tomorrow. I think Lindelof will have a good game tomorrow, and then against Wolves, I'd be playing Varane and Martinez, so let's see what happens. But I'm glad Maguire's back tomorrow because it puts Casemiro into the midfield. Memphis is just an injury-prone as Tony, but not as good, says Daniel Kirk. I didn't know about that. Fishan, thank you very much and welcome to the Members Club. No, we're at home tomorrow, Connor. Home to Old Trafford tomorrow night, 8 o'clock kickoff. And then Saturday, we're away at 12:30 on New Year's Eve against Wolverhampton Wanderers. So that's our next 2 games. Wilfred says Lindelof's better than Maguire. Doesn't really massively matter, does it? Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, Varane and Martinez are better than both. Could United fans sway the January transfer window with our voices, given they are trying to sell? We could speak out like we did with Arnautovic, says Anthony Johnston. Don't mention Anthony. All I can focus on is the word Arnautovic. They wouldn't surely go back in for Arnautovic. I heard him talking. He was talking about Mourinho wanting him at United as well. But I wouldn't. I really don't want Arnautovic at the club. I mean, at the end of the day, we've all got theories, we've all got opinions, and that's absolutely fine. But I think when it comes to the striker situation, this story from France that Man United are in a battle for João Felix, I think Arsenal will win that battle. But Cody Gakpo is a slam dunk. It's a slam dunk deal. He wants to come to United. United want him. It's such an easy deal for Manchester United to do. It would be criminal if we didn't do it. But some of our transfers have been criminal. So, it's as simple as that. Sorry, RJ. RJ's gone forever. Don't admit what you're trying to do, mate. You just get deleted. Do you think any key players could be sold in the summer like Maguire, Sancho, McTominay? I just need to talk to you about Gusto. And I'm not talking about the food delivery service. I'm talking about Malo Gusto from Lyon. It's hilarious. I don't know whether anyone's watched my videos on Sky. I did a video on Sky, Soccer Social, on Saturday, on Christmas Eve. Where I basically did 5 signings to make Man United great again. And I put Malo Gusto in it. And a couple of hours later, there was a story from France that Man United are interested in signing Gusto. I've never heard that United are genuinely interested in him. There's been rumours, but nothing concrete. I think the right backs that Ten Hag has looked at has been Frimpong and Dumfries, who are both Dutch, by surprise. Gusto's more of a fan theory. If you know your football, you'll know that he's a very good right back playing in France for Lyon. And he'd be the perfect sort of right back to bring in. I want a Malacia. I want a young fullback to play under Delot and compete with Delot. I think we've got a brilliant combination of Luke Shaw and Malacia. And I think Delot is the senior right back, so you bring in a younger right back, and I think Gusto would be fantastic. I'd love United to be linked to Gusto, but I genuinely don't believe there's anything in it. And I thought it was a bit of a coincidence that a lot of United fans started talking about Gusto on Christmas Eve, and suddenly we're linked to him, which is sometimes how it works. Love from Azerbaijan, says Khalid. Thanks for the top content. Cheers, pal. Telling the world we can't raise 50 million whilst trying to sell for 6 billion. Stupidity at its best. Hope new owners need the board, says Wayne List. Exactly. I mean, Wayne, I think you've absolutely owned it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're trying to sell a football club for 6 billion, and everybody who buys that club knows it's overvalued, and everybody who buys that club knows it's not won anything for, significant for 10 years, and everybody who buys that club knows it needs hundreds of millions of pounds spending on a new stadium, and then you say in January, when they need to replace Ronaldo, we can't afford to do it. Why would you spend 6 billion on United when it's so clearly screwed financially? Now, somebody probably will do it, but if you are trying to sell, you've got to make, if we get Memphis, I don't think we're going to get top 4. If we get João Felix or Gakpo, I think we've got a chance. If we get Memphis, I don't think we get top 4. It's as simple as that. So, you might be saving money in one area, but you'll be losing money in another, in my opinion. And it's a chop chat by Wayne, says Chunky. I'm not doing any watch-alongs today, Vask. It's Boxing Day in the UK. It's a family day for me. If Man United were playing, I would do it, but I'm not sitting doing a watch-along of Arsenal or Liverpool or Spurs when I could be sat there with a big tin of Quality Street, a nice Krabby's ginger beer, and playing Monopoly whilst it's on in the background. That, to me, is my Boxing Day, and I'm still recovering, so... I have got an interview with Fabrizio Romano coming out for you at some point this afternoon, though. I'm recording it with him in a little bit, so we'll get that up for you this afternoon. And we'll definitely I'll ask him about Gusto, and I'll ask him about the other transfer stuff. So that'll be coming out for you this afternoon as well. So we've got some good content for you on the United Stand. So make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Do not forget that we've got the best bits of 2022. You'll love the first 20 minutes. I'd forgotten the start of 2022 up until May. It's basically all my little clips. We put it out on Christmas Day yesterday. A lot of you have watched it and enjoyed it. Feel free to take those little clips and use them wherever you want. TikTok, whatever. There's some funny ones on there. Check it out. It's in the live chat there. Also, the Forest versus United preview. That's on the homepage as well. You might not have seen it on Christmas Eve. Very relevant, because I did put Maguire in my predicted team. So that preview is very relevant now. And then tomorrow we're back to normal, really. We'll have a morning show for you. We'll have a road trip. We'll have the watch-alongs, match reactions, player ratings. So enjoy the last day of No United over the festive period, because it's all about to kick off big time. I just want to say happy holidays to everybody. Sorry if I was a little bit grumpy, but I'm dosed up on all sorts at the moment. So I'm feeling a lot better than I did on Christmas Eve, but I've still got a pounding headache, sore throat, and we all get a little irritable with that. But to be fair, I'll defend the community on this. One of the biggest feedbacks I ever get, and I do get loads of messages consistently, and I do try and defend you on this. It's not just me. People say, I love the morning show, but what I cannot stand is when people start going back to things you've spoken about 5 minutes before. So we will call it out every now and again, especially when I've got a headache. But look, at the end of the day, I know people tune in not on time and stuff. It's absolutely fine. But we literally had just spoken about the Laurie Whitwell update, Uzar, and the Gakpo updates are just so frustrating. They're so frustrating because there is no update on Gakpo. He wants to come to United. Ten Hag wants him. United don't really want to pay. That's what happened in August. Remember, we would have bought Gakpo in the summer if we didn't spend £85 million on Anthony. If we'd spent £50 million on Anthony, we would have had £30 million to buy Gakpo, and it would have got done. We ran out of money. Ten Hag wanted him in the summer. It's as simple as that. Let me just get rid of Sam Johnson. That's the only shout out you're going to get. There we go. Let's get rid of him. There we go. It's always good to pull out the twats in the chat as well, because then you can block them as the end show. Ian Fraser's gone as well. Good. There we go. There we go. Thanks, everyone. Big love to the community. Hope you have a great day with your friends and family, and we'll clear out all the twats as they expose themselves. They probably had a crap Christmas. They probably got a lump of coal and an empty bed. You know, people get very bitter and twisted at Christmas as well. Try and put a smile on your face and enjoy it. Even if you just go for a walk and say Merry Christmas to a stranger. Thanks.